Now, I see confetti flying all over the place on social media, but what does this really mean for you? All right, guys, let's get ready for another banger. As per Stats Canada, breaking news, the inflation for August was now 2%, and that was the target rate for the Bank of Canada since the get-go of this inflationary period. Now, you might be wondering, what's inflation, what's deflation, what do these words mean? So let's give a quick definition here. Inflation and deflation is a measured increase or decrease in the price of goods and services over a given period of time. But note, the measurement is provided as a percentage. Over the years, the inflation in Canada peaked on June 2022 at 8.1%. And over this past century, the past 24 years, this was the highest inflationary period we've witnessed to date. So you guys are actually part of history. In addition, I want you to know that this does not mean that all prices for all products and all services will increase at a 2% inflationary rate. What it means is the government, Stats Canada, takes a basket of goods that the average Canadian uses on a daily basis, and then they say, based on these average of goods, how is inflation impacting each item individually? And then you get your total basket, which comes out to, like I said, 2.0. Now let's dive a little deeper into this magical 2% number and see which items are trending above 2% inflation and which items, goods and services, are trending below the 2%. Let's get into it. Number one, your rent. Number two, the interest that you pay on your mortgage. As of right now, the prime interest rate sits at 6.45%. And those of you who've recently gotten insurance know exactly what I'm talking about. Now let's look at the bucket of items, goods and services, that are trending below 2%. Number one would be travel, airline tickets, hotels, etc. Number two would be an auto. Number three, it would be fuel. Now, the first three columns where the inflation is higher than 2%, you will notice that these are our largest expense items. And plus, on top of that, not only are they the largest, they're also a fixed cost. So it's very tricky when they say 2%, is it really 2%? Now, the media will make it sound like everything is perfect, but I need you guys to stay with me. I need you guys to maintain your focus. I need you guys to become that wolf. During these high inflationary times when it was all doom and gloom, the government pushed all the blame onto external global factors. And now that the inflation is coming back down and hitting 2%, they're waving pom-poms as if they had everything to do with it. So guys, you can't have your cake and eat it too. When things are bad, you don't deflect blames. And when things are good, you take all the credit. It doesn't work that way. So beware of all the headlines that are going to pop up on your social media in the next coming days. So let me tell you what's bringing down this inflation. Number one, we talked about earlier, it's your travels, your meals, and your luxury cars. People aren't eating out as much, they're not traveling as much, and people are delaying the purchase of a car or they're downgrading their cars. Number two, the unemployment rate has jumped up to 6.6% in August of 2024, it's the latest data, whereas last year, this time, it was 5.1%. And that's another reason people are scared of losing their jobs, or they have lost their jobs, so therefore they're pinching pennies, and they rightfully should pinch their pennies. Canada is an exporting country. Canada is very rich in its natural resources. US is our largest trading partner. Europe and the US are seeing weakness in their economy, which means they are importing less. When they import less, we export less. When we export less, we see downward pressure or softening in our manufacturing sector. Another reason why there's downward pressure on inflation and the price of goods is because banks are no longer willy-nilly handing out loans. This drug of pretending to be rich has come to a halting screech. Another factor that leads to the drop in inflation is that the government conveniently added a carbon tax. So all manufacturers in Canada had to pay a surtax. Now, what that did is when you have a surtax, these companies will now pass on this extra expense to the consumers. Now, when you're passing the expense on to the consumer, it means the cost of good has gone up. When the cost of good goes up, people buy less. When people buy less, jobs are eliminated because there's less demand. When jobs are eliminated, people start spending less. When people spend less, what you get is a perfect storm where there's downward pressure on pricing as inventory starts to build up. So in conclusion, this impacts Canada's ability to prosper and innovate, which has a crippling effect on the overall economy. To all my American cousins, I need you guys to listen up. Us Canadians, we have learned our lesson the hard way. Please don't make the same mistake that we have made over the past 10 years. Our country has gone through hell and back. We are economically tied to you. You are like our older brother. So please choose wisely. I've thrown a lot at you. Let's bundle this up in a nice package and give it a final deliver. To all my entrepreneurs out there, you guys have been sitting on the sidelines. Interest rates were high. It was hard to get loans. Times were tough. Now that the interest rates have come down, there is a larger pool of labor waiting to find jobs. I need you guys to now start investing, start innovating, start putting your money into R&D. We have to now expand our economy. We've been through enough. It's been tough times. I think the green pastures are ahead of us. So let's get ahead of this curve and take advantage of these lower costs while you can, because the tide will turn. So let's be ahead of the curve. As for all you Canadians out there, I need you to stay with me. Like I said, maintain your focus, stay the goal, pay off your debts, stop buying UC. Stop thinking you are entitled to have whatever you desire. Learn the difference between needs and want. I want you to increase and grow your passive income portfolio. Go watch my video on active income versus passive income. Like I said, become a wolf, go into beast mode. And remember, it all starts with a simple conversation.